go straight afterwards. So just like to welcome you all to the Solutions IT webinar. For those of you who don't know who we are, Solutions IT have been providing IT and education services to schools and educational organisations since 1999. So been around for a little while. We're based in WA, but we do have offices in New South Wales too. I believe my colleague Lal is on the call. Could I just get that person who's just joined just to mute? Let's see if I can mute you.
I can sort that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, that's a little bit about us. For those of you who don't know Mark Savoury, where have you been? But Mark Savoury is the head of e-learning at Emmanuel College, located on the Gold Coast, Queensland. Mark is recognised as a Microsoft Fellow and was awarded as a Hot List recipient 3 years in a row by the Educator magazine in 2017 to 2019 for being an influential figure in the K-12 education space. For those of you who know Mark, he has a passion for pushing the boundaries and bringing innovation and engagement into the classroom, mainly through the use of technology. So we're delighted to have him on today's call. Today he will be talking about unpacking the benefits of AR and VR in the classroom. And like I said, delighted to have you. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Sarah. It's it's great to have you guys joining on our call today. So thank you so much for being part of our presentation. Just a little heads up, we are recording our session today so that we can backtrack the information as required. So we are recording. So if I can ask you just to mute your microphones, keep them muted. We will have a Q&A towards the end if you have any questions. Also, there is the chat going. Sarah will be answering all of your questions as you go. Patrick's having some trouble there just with the audio. Can you, Russell or Faye, can you give us a thumbs up in the chat if you're hearing the audio okay? You're hearing me okay, Sarah? Yep, so Patrick might just want to check your, thanks Matt, you might just want to check your audio settings on your call here. If you click your three dots, you can click device setting as well, and that might hopefully sort the audio for you.
I'm hearing you fine, Mark.
Great, fantastic. All right, so I just want to introduce myself. Thank you, Sarah, for that lovely introduction. So I've been working in Emmanuel for around 16 years now. Love the school. I've had quite a few different roles over that time. We have been using Class VR for about 2 years now and are really loving the solution for us as a school. So I, get really thrilled to have opportunity to talk about the experience that we've had because it's been such a positive one. And as Sarah said as well, I'm part of the Microsoft Innovative Expert Educator program. And so it's been fantastic being able to link some of these readily available Windows tools with Class VR to really enhance what we're doing in the classroom. So as a little bit of a background, a few years ago, Microsoft put out this sort of research paper on preparing the class of 2030. And I think, in looking at how we're preparing students for the next digital revolution, and there's probably a lot of that in that document that's been ticked off this year from probably between about March to June. So it's been amazing how far we've come with our use of technology, even this year, out of necessity more than desire. But prior to that as well, it was really interesting seeing some of the new technologies that we're involving in and seeing those ones that are coming into the education space as well. If you're utilizing the chat there, have a look at this image, and if you know who it
Hi, Mark. I've lost audio as well. I think somebody joined and that seemed to have disrupted the audio.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, great. So we're back. It's the joys of technology, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so this photo, this is a fully automated artificial intelligent robot called Sophia. It was made by Hanson Robotics. And the context of this call is that she's actually having a conversation with a journalist in this self-driving car. And so, yeah, she was engaging in this conversation. So some amazing robotics and use of artificial intelligence in there. It was quite interesting. They said that she was modeled after Audrey Hepburn, though I would deem, if you have a look at some people that were involved in the design project, one of her designers, it could be said that maybe they influenced her genetic disposition there. But it's been amazing seeing the developments in that kind of artificial intelligence. And even in the school sense, then we've got these kind of robotics and things that are coming into the education space. This was an obot that you can program with, have its eyes move, its mouth move. Even with that use of artificial intelligence, this was a Skype call that we were doing. That was between a teacher in France, back to our Year 6 class at Emmanuel here. The teacher was speaking in French. It was translating it in real time to English. The kids were, responding in English. It was translating in real time to French for him. So it's amazing seeing these kind of technologies that are available for us. I guess at Emmanuel here, part of our IT drive is we have this mission statement that we serve to enrich the learning experience for all. And so when we are implementing new technology, we really question that, well, how is this enhancing the learning experience? What is it giving the students that they're not experiencing without it? And that's really where we've arrived with the Class VR. We have loved this use and introduction of virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality into our education space and into the curriculum, because it really is giving them a different experience than what they would have without it. So when we sort of started on our journey with VR, there were a number of different headsets around. We spoke to people, we looked at different devices, and what really led us to Class VR was, for one, it was affordable. It was easy to use, not just for the students, but for staff as well. You have to make it easy for staff to use, or they just won't use it. One of the big aspects for us is that we really wanted students to have that ability to be creators of content. There's a real joy and an enhancement in viewing content, and there's some great content out there. But there's that next level development that comes when students can actually be creators of content for it as well. The other aspect is that we wanted it to link in with tools that we already had, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And also we needed it to suit across that range of year levels that we have in the school. There's a lot of VR devices that are recommended for 13 plus, but we wanted to include our junior school as well. And, the Class VR is meant to be a sort of 6 to 8 minute immersion in something that, it's not meant to be a 50-minute lesson with headsets on. I think I would get myself a bit dizzy doing that. But did it enhance the learning experience? Yes. Was it mind-blowing for the kids? Yes. And I love this image in the bottom right corner of the girl kind of holding the boy's arm. They were, it was a grade 3 class that was looking at planets, and they were in space, sort of standing above the sun looking at planets, and she needed that sort of comfort of holding the boy in front of him. And I love seeing the reaction of the kids' faces when they engage with content in there. And that's where we've really seen that benefit in the curriculum space. From the consumer side, you know, the Class VR has lots of great content built out there, readily available for people to use. There's 360 images, there are augmented reality objects, there's 360 videos as well. There's lots that have lesson plans that give you ideas. There's already some preset playlists of material that you can utilize. So there's some great resources available. And even at a basic level, that's where we started. We started by just viewing content, and it was fantastic. We would use that for writing stimuluses. We would use that to engage kids with, you know, 3D objects. And again, the mix of video and images in there were really beneficial. Our grade 2 was doing people, places and things. So we made a playlist of marketplaces around the world so that they could compare and contrast what was similar, what was different. Again, in those sort of group rotations, they would have that 6-7 minutes of looking at some different images and then go off to write. And some of the kids' descriptive writing that came out of that, because they were actually able to look around and be immersed in an area, was really powerful. So from a consumer side, there is lots of great content in there that you can utilize. From there, we really pushed forward to the creator side. We wanted students to be able to create some content for the devices, not just for themselves, but for their peers as well. So we bought $550, I think it was at the time. They're possibly cheaper now. It was a Nikon 360 camera. There's a number of different ones around. And we started playing with creating our own content. So we took footage of sports and swimming carnivals. We took footage of chapel services, some STEM activities, music lessons. And then we found we had this little bank of videos that we could utilize for things like open day as well. And if you are trying to help sway the money men or money women of your school that pay the budgets, you know, things like being able to utilize them for open days or special events can be a really good sales point as well, because, you know, the school can see the benefit beyond just the classroom. And we've had some fantastic feedback from, you know, prospective parents that have come to an open day, and, you know, they come on a Saturday and they see a grade 5 classroom that's empty, but we can say, hey, do you want to see what a class looks like in action? Pop on the headsets, have a look. So that has been really nice for us as well. They've been really popular at our open days. Aside from that, we've used them in the junior and senior school for some trips and excursions. We had a couple of kids in grade 2 that were really had some high levels of anxiety. And so we found that, you know, they were going to do a little nature excursion out of the school and just in the surrounding area. So our STEM teacher, you know, took the 360 video, went for a walk on the journey of where they were going to go. Just recorded, you know, 5-10 minutes of footage, said, while you're walking, check out this up here and have a look out for this, and you might see these birds over here. And so the kids actually were immersed in that experience before doing that. So the kids that felt that bit of anxiety of, oh, I don't know where we're going and it's all different, was able to really settle them and help them to have a bit of an idea of what was going to be coming up on their excursion. So even for things like that, it can be really helpful. We've got film and TV looking at units in 360 as well, which has given them a really different avenue of having a different curriculum focus from just what they were doing. And we found that even, you know, tools like in Windows 10 to be able to trim videos and things was just easy, because it's, you know, it's just part of Windows 10 that you can utilize. If you've got fancier software like Premiere Pro, you know, or higher end video editing software, you can create your own titles, banners, things as you go as well. So there's lots of ways to be able to easily integrate your own content. One of the ways that we did that as well was using Minecraft. We're a big Minecraft school. Kids were already doing lots of builds and sort of community builds or collaborative builds in Minecraft. And Minecraft has this great little tool where you can export 3D objects from there. And so we had students that were building creations. This is just an example of part of a castle. You can export that object. And then in Windows 10, I mean, you could put that object directly into Class VR. But if you're using Windows 10 devices, they have Paint 3D is just a standard part. And Paint 3D can be really nice because you can then go through, you can personalize their creations, they can add nameplates, they can, recolor it, they can resize it. Even just within Paint 3D alone, you can create different 3D objects, which then it's a simple process of dragging and dropping into the Class VR portal. And again, for us, we've loved it because it's easy. It's not a complicated process of having to resave as different file types or having to convert files to make it work. Just drag and drop, it goes in and works. And so we had a lot of fun with kids creating things in Minecraft that they were then exporting, and even down to year 2, we had right across the junior school, were creating different things that they were then able to share with their classmates and get that bit more of a virtual experience of what their environment was that they created. Windows 10 has a little mixed reality viewer that's just part of Windows 10 as well. So we would get kids to use that to sort of test their 3D object first to check that it looked right, that they were happy with it. And then we would import them into the Class VR. And again, that sort of castle piece was, simplistic, but when we start looking at more complex builds and their creation, it was fantastic seeing some of the things that they created. The Class VR has a cube as well. I'll just show you in the webcam here. So this enables you to sort of manipulate augmented reality objects as well. So one of the kids deemed that it was very necessary that their community had a McDonald's in it. So they designed their McDonald's in Minecraft. But again, once they viewed that in the Class VR headset, they could hold up the cube and then rotate to look at the different perspectives of their 3D object. And even holding it closer, they could even look in the windows. It was quite fantastic what they were creating there. So Minecraft was a great way, that was a tool that we're already using, that we could get that instant uptake with creating objects then to put in our VR headsets. One of the other things that we did in our upper primary is that we looked at how we could take some of their writing. So in this case, it was a choose your own adventure story. So how we could take that writing piece and again, create something that was engaging for their peers with the VR headsets. And that's what I love about these tools as well. There's lots of ways that you can extend and expand on what you're doing. So we looked at some of their story writing. I created a PowerPoint in template. And that PowerPoint was just 6 slides. So if we think of our cube again, we have 6 faces. So the template in PowerPoint was 6 slides. We made it a square shape. And then the kids went about writing their story. And we said that they could, they could print that out. They could draw their own images. They could add images and backgrounds from PowerPoint. And then we would import that into Paint 3D to put it on a cube. And then from there, we could export that 3D object and put it into Class VR. There's quite a few steps in there, and my apologies for rushing through that. But if you would like to know more about that, please email me. My link will be at the end. But this will give you an example of what we did. So again, as the students, if you've used Paint 3D before, they have an ability to add an object. So we added that 3D cube. And then each page of the PowerPoint, we stuck on as a sticker to the sides of the cube. And so what we had in essence then was an interactive story. So when students put their headsets on, they could hold a cube, and as they rotated the cube, hopefully that's coming through that you can see, their story would rotate as well. And so students could interact with reading the story to make their choice A, their choice B, and so forth. And so it was a really nice way of including some of those digital tools with, some of their story writing as well. I know another school in Brisbane that was creating cereal boxes in Paint 3D, where students had to redesign their cereal box labels. And again, they were able to export that as a 3D object, put it in the Class VR viewer, and again, kids could rotate and manipulate that cereal box to see all the sides. So there's some great ways that you can utilize a shape of a cube to create something really engaging. And the kids had so much joy in, sharing their stories with their classmates as well. Now, this student here on this story, she chose to just use some background images. A few of our students decided to add 3D images in Paint 3D. And you can see here, Tommy, his file ended up being about 300 meg because he had so many 3D objects and backgrounds and little popping out arrows, but it was fantastic. So it was great seeing what the kids come up with. We know, as educators, we sort of have one idea and think, okay, it's going to go this way. And then the students come up with all these other fantastic ideas and ways of taking it on further. But again, even with their story writing, the reaction was like this, which we love. There's a few other programs that link in with Class VR, again, that just give you more options of what you can do and what you can create with them. You may or may not have seen CoSpaces before. Similar in a sense to Minecraft, though, it's an area that you can create some different VR experiences or visualizations or walkthroughs. You can also create games and things as well. Excuse me there. So CoSpaces is a program that has a subscription cost. There is a free version, but you can only create a couple of spaces. You get a lot more value out of a paid subscription, and kids can, create rooms or environments where there's walkthroughs or things that you can click on the little enter button on a Class VR headset and walk through and explore those spaces. So it's a great little tool add-on that you can utilize with Class VR. There is another website, ThingLink, that is partnered with Class VR as well. We're just playing with this at the moment and enjoying seeing some things that we can create where, again, you can create some of, utilize their content that they have in there, or you can add your own images or video. And through it, you can create interactive media. So this is a 360 image of our library space. And here I was able to add little markers where if the students click on it, it has a pop-up box and says, these are our fiction books for these ages. This is the librarian's chair. It has a photo of her. It has a little recorded message. This is the non-fiction books. And so you're able to add those kind of points of interest or further information to an image that you have that either you've taken or that you've uploaded yourself. As I say, they've got a bank of images. Again, it's really easy. You just copy the share link, paste it in the Class VR headsets, and it works. Students can look around, click on the different tabs to get that further information. So we're really enjoying seeing what we can create with that at the moment. In Class VR as well, they've got there's these sort of different areas on their portal. So there's two ways that you can really drive your, Class VR headset use with the students. One of those is that you can load a playlist of images on and just allow the students to go through it themselves. Or the other side of it is that you can, as a teacher from this, teaching portal, you can drive what the students are seeing so that they're all seeing the same images at the same time. And the nice thing about that too is you can actually see on your screen where their eyes are looking, and you can click on points of interest so that you can really see that the students are engaging with what you've liked. But from the teaching side and working with other staff members, you have this sort of personal cloud space where you can create your own playlists. You've got your own cloud space to upload your own images and video to. But then as a organisation, so Emmanuel College here, we've got an area where we can create shared playlists. So I can create a playlist for other staff and just say, here it is. Or there's a shared cloud space as well. So film and TV are doing fantastic videos that we'd like the rest of the school to be able to utilise. We can put it in that space and other teachers can create their own playlists with it. There's a fantastic global community of users as well, right across the world, that are uploading different ideas and playlists of tracks and teaching lessons as well. So I find, like most things, there's fantastic resources, but you've got the ability then to personalize it for yourself in your school. And then you've got these other areas of co-spaces and link that you can utilize as well in your creation. So I know I've been talking fast, but I'm conscious of our time. So I'm going to finish with this very short video and then we'll have some questions if you have any. Let me play this.
Today, faster than ever, the world is changing because opportunity is raging. Mixed reality, changing the world we see. Intelligence to build it like we always hoped it would be. But it's not really about what technology can do. It's about how it's used by you. In the end, it's just a tool, so bring it. What's a hammer without a person to swing it? Your possibility is endless, your limits are few. So here's the real question. What will you do?
I think it's just a great ending for us. Technology is a tool and it's what you make of it that will really make a difference in your classroom and in your schools. And again, as I said, we started just utilizing the content to really just view and be consumers of that. But if you can expand then, where the students can become creators as well, you'll see that they just love it. They'll really thrive in what they're doing. So I hope that's been of help or interest for you today. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop it in the chat or unmute and ask. We've got a few minutes left. If you do have any questions, otherwise at the end, I know Sarah will have their email address there. You are more than welcome to, again, touch base with me. I'm more than happy to chat anytime about things that we're doing.
My camera doesn't seem to be working, but just a couple of fun facts. So Class VR, last count, is in 65 countries in over 2,500 schools. Just this last couple of slides here, just to give you an overview. So they're standalone headsets. We get a lot of questions. Do you have to use a mobile phone? No, you don't. They're Wi-Fi. They are managed by the portal, which Mark gave a quick overview of. You can add your own content to that portal as well, which is really useful by using your own 360 camera or third-party content as well, as long as it's licensed to be able to use. We get a lot of questions, can you use Google Expeditions, for example? So if you've got a subscription and it's licensed to be used, then yes, we encourage you to use it. It's marketed, it's from a UK company, Class VR. It's marketed as curriculum aligned. We sort of use that loosely. There is definitely a lot of content that can be mapped to the curriculum. So I'll leave that kind of left open. The charger, it comes with its own charger. So they come with a case that you can wheel around, and that's how they're charged up. So it's very convenient to move from class to class. You don't need to have a specific space in the school. And it also comes with installation and training, and there's ongoing training all the time that's free once you sign up. So that's really it in a nutshell. The best thing for you to do is to see it in action. We do have a Lyle who's on the ground in Sydney and New South Wales. So should you would want a demo with obviously no obligation at all, Lyle will be more than happy to come to your school and let you have a play, because once you've seen it, I think that's really when you really can understand the power of what it can achieve in terms of that retention piece and engagement. So that is it. Just check if there's any other questions in the chat.
So Heidi had a question there that
yes,
I did just reply to. Yeah, we find our junior school where we're able to interlink that creation of content a lot easier into the curriculum. In the school, they use it a lot for viewing, or they will create more videos of excursions and things that they've done. So, you know, we had a trip that went to Germany that took the 360 camera, so that for next year's, you know, trip, that they can, you know, have a look to sort of experience some of the things that they might be looking at. But for our general classes in the senior school, they tend to do a lot more viewing and so forth. So,
awesome. All right, well, Mark, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, because it just sounds wonderful. I wish I was a student at your school when I was growing up.
I wish they had this technology when we were growing up, hey?
Yeah. But
thank you, Sarah.
And thank you, everyone, for your time. I know everyone's very busy. Thank you for taking the time. We'll be in touch with you all with this video, so that you can share it with your colleagues should you want to. And like I said, just reply if you want to have a demo, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much.